Hi everyone, I hope everybody's having a great day so far today. Welcome to the second video in my series, Answering Your Questions About Real Estate. In my first video that I posted last week, I answered your questions about buyer agency and what do buyer agents do. In this week's video, I'm going to be answering your questions about relocating to the Charlotte area. A lot of you reach out to me and ask me questions about Charlotte. You've asked me questions like, why did you and your husband move to Charlotte? What does the city of Charlotte have to offer? What are the school districts like? What is the weather like? What are the home prices like? Is it a good place to invest? So I'm going to answer some of those questions for you today. Now, before I do that, one thing that I would like to give you in the way of facts about Charlotte is that in 2018, Charlotte was rated the third fastest growing city in the United States. I'm going to repeat that because I want you to remember that fact. In 2018, Charlotte was rated the third fastest growing city in the United States. That's kind of important to know, and I can attest to that fact as a realtor because 75% of my clients are transplants. They are moving here from other states and other markets. I would say some of the most prominent locations, or states I should say, that people are relocating from are New York, case in point, New York, New Jersey, California, Ohio, Florida, Chicago, the Midwest, Boston. And I also have had a couple of people reach out to me this past year relocating from overseas. A couple of people reached out to me saying they were not only considering relocating to the US, but that Charlotte was the city they had read about that was on their radar, and this is where they were thinking of relocating to, and they were calling me up and asking me a whole bunch of questions about the area. Now, one other thing I would like to give you kind of a brief rundown about is how my husband and I wound up in the Charlotte area. So most of you probably don't know this, but my husband Frank is the one that got me into real estate. As a matter of fact, both of us were realtors on Staten Island 12 years ago. So obviously being realtors, we were very in the know about home prices. And one thing that might surprise a lot of you that are sitting right here in the Charlotte area right now, knowing what you pay for your homes, is that we were selling people townhomes for $300,000, $350,000. So the one thing we decided was we were going to start looking at other real estate markets in other cities and kind of see where our money would go the furthest. Where were some other cities that had great amenities, but the cost of living just made more sense for us? Now, I'm in no way, shape, or form knocking New York. I am a New York girl through and through. I loved growing up in New York City. I have family and friends still in New York City. But one thing I'm sure my family and friends from up north will attest to is that New York is incredibly expensive. So we just decided that we wanted to try to find a market where the cost of living would just make more sense for us. So Charlotte was a city that we wound up researching because we had read it was an up-and-coming city and they were doing a lot of developing there. So we visited the area twice, and we completely fell in love with it. We fell in love with the people. We fell in love with the weather. We fell in love with the home prices. The home prices just completely floored us when we moved here. One of the things that was very beneficial for me as a realtor was that I was able to investigate a lot of areas and a lot of properties before we wound up purchasing the house that we settled on. And I'm only giving you this information just so you get an idea about value, because I'm sure a lot of you are watching this video because you really want to know about investing and you want to know how far your money would go in our market. So when we purchased our home, a couple of details I'll give you about our property is that our home is a 5-bedroom home, which is probably a little more space than we needed, but it's a 5-bedroom home, 3,000 square feet on a third of an acre property, and we paid $238,000 for it 12 years ago. So I'm kind of giving you that information just so you get an idea about the value and how much house you actually get for your money here. Now, 12 years later, my house is obviously appreciated. I would say my house now would probably be selling for the 320 to 330 mark in my current location. Now, house prices here in the Charlotte area are appreciating, and they're appreciating fairly quickly. Part of the reason is the demand. A lot of people are moving here, and that's still great news for anybody that's possibly looking to relocate. I mean, it's great to know that if you're relocating someplace where you know your house values are probably going to go up pretty quickly, and it's also great to know if you're looking to do any type of investing. So that's one of the main reasons why we wanted to consider moving to the Charlotte area is the home values. The home values just made a lot of sense for us, and like I said, anybody that's looking to relocate, as a matter of fact, when I do have clients that are moving here from some of your major markets like New York, New Jersey, San Francisco, Boston, one thing a lot of my clients are very happy about is that when they sell their properties in those major markets, they are actually walking away with a lot of profit when they purchase homes here because they're purchasing homes for a fraction of what they were selling them for in some of those other markets. So that's actually something that's really good for you to know too if you're considering relocating. A couple other things I'm just going to tell you that's kind of not really related to investing, but just some other things that we love about Charlotte. We get all 4 seasons here. And that was kind of important to me because, moving from New York to the South, I didn't know if I was only going to be having summer all the time. And we do have winter, spring, summer, and fall. As a matter of fact, we do get snow here. On occasion in the wintertime, we will get snow. The only difference between up north and here is that it melts within a day or two, which is pretty awesome. We also have some beautiful autumns here. I am a huge fan of the fall, and we have some of the most breathtaking change of seasons here that I can honestly say I've ever seen. The autumns here are just absolutely beautiful. We also have the mountains only a couple hours away. So if you're a person that wants to visit Asheville or you're interested in taking like a weekend mountain retreat, the mountains are only a couple of hours away. We have some beautiful beaches here. We have the Carolina coast and about a half a day's drive away. This past year, we went to the Outer Banks, and I'm a big lighthouse fanatic, so we were able to tour 4 of the, I believe, 5 or 6 lighthouses that are on the Carolina coast. So you have some beautiful beaches only about anywhere from 2 to 4 hours away, depending on where on the coast you decide to travel. A lot of people ask me about the school districts. We have some great schools here. We have a lot of schools that are rated 8, 9, 10 on the school ratings, 10 obviously being the highest. If you have additional questions about the schools, I'd be more than happy to give you some additional information via email or text. There's some websites I could also direct you to give you more information about some of the school districts based on the city and the county as well. So a lot of people that are looking to move here, I do work with a lot of retirees, but a lot of people that are reaching out to me do have school-age children, so the schools are important. So I'd be more than happy to share some more information about the school districts as well. Another thing I love about the Charlotte area is diversity. And when I say diversity, I mean in 2 different ways. It's a very diverse city in regards to people. I love how culturally diverse this city is because it reminds me a lot of New York in that way. But another type of diversity is the different types of living that you can have here, meaning we have lakefront. If you're a person that's really big into lakefront properties, we have Lake Wylie on the south, Lake Norman on the north. So you have lakefront living. You also can live in the city. If you're a person like city living, we have condos in Uptown. If you prefer suburban living, I know a lot of people coming from New York probably know like areas like Westchester County or Connecticut. You have that type of living here as well. We have a lot of beautiful suburban communities here. And you also have more rural living if you're a person that's more interested in a horse farm. As a matter of fact, I joked around one time because in my real estate career, I've actually shown all 3 different types of properties in one weekend. In one weekend, I showed a condo in Uptown, I showed a beautiful house in the suburbs up in the Lake Norman area, and I literally showed a client a horse farm. They were looking to open an equestrian farm, and we traveled about 30 minutes north into a more rural location. So there's so many different types of living that you have here. Another thing that I like is that we're kind of centrally located on the East Coast, so if you do have family and friends in Florida, you're kind of midway. I love the fact that I often joke around and say that if I leave in the morning and I decide to drive up to New York, I'm back at my mom's house at dinner time. It's only about an 8-hour drive and it's a 1.5-hour flight. So if you're considering relocating and you have family and friends that are still going to be up north, you only have an 1.5-hour flight before you're back in New York or you're back down here in the Charlotte area. A couple other things just in regards to amenities that we offer. Now, me being a New York girl, I will be honest, moving to the South was not what I expected. Charlotte is a very large city that offers pretty much every amenity that I had when I lived in New York. We have some great sports teams here if you're a person that's into sports. We have the Carolina Panthers. We have the Charlotte Hornets. If you like hockey, we have the Charlotte Checkers. We have the BB&T Stadium here in Uptown. So if you're a person that likes to go to games, we have this beautiful stadium right in the center of our city. If you're a person that likes to shop like me, and I hate to use the girl stereotype, but I'm a person that loves to shop, we have some great shopping here. We have the Carolina Place Mall, the South Park Mall. We have the Concord Mills Mall, which is one of the largest ones in the areas. I live within walking distance from the North Lake Mall. We have a lot of outlets here. Another thing about North Carolina is that we are a furniture hub, meaning a lot of people travel even from other states to North Carolina because we're very well known for our furniture outlets and furniture warehouses. So people that are very big into home furnishings often travel here to get discounts on home furniture. Some other things that I can honestly say that I love about the area is some of the other attractions that we have. We also have, if you're a person that's into thrill seeking and roller coasters, we have Carowinds. Carowinds is our equivalent of Great Adventure. From anybody who's up north, you probably remember Great Adventure in New Jersey. Our Carowinds is probably of similar scale and size to Great Adventure. We also have the Whitewater Center. I don't live too far from the Whitewater Center, and if you're a person that likes to zip line, kayak, whitewater raft, canoe, we offer that as well. The Whitewater Center is a huge area where anybody that's really into outdoor activities, also including rock climbing, you can go to the Whitewater Center. So I basically just wanted to give you an idea as to what Charlotte has to offer, some of the reasons why we love living here, and some of the amenities that Charlotte has to offer. Again, I'm hoping this answered a lot of your questions about relocating. It answered a lot of your questions about attractions in the area. Some of the questions that you also had about the school districts. Like I said, if there's anything you want me to go more in depth on, I'd be more than happy to do that personally or do that via email. I kind of want to keep these videos a little short, a little light, touch on some basic things. But if you have more questions about investments and home prices, email me, text me, Facebook me. I'd be more than happy to answer more questions. I really hope you enjoyed this video. I'm always open to hearing some of your ideas and suggestions for other topics on the videos. And again, I always appreciate hearing your feedback. So thanks again for tuning in, guys, and I hope you guys have a great rest of the day.